In this lesson, we're going to be talking about the Reverse Address Resolution Protocol, or RARP. RARP is the reverse of the Address Resolution Protocol, or ARP. By reverse, I mean that I don't actually have a logical address or an IP address. What I have is a MAC address. If you remember, ARP is where I have a logical address or an IP address, and I'm looking for a MAC address or a physical address. In this case, the reverse is true. What situations would that be useful? Well, if you are a diskless workstation, for example, you may need to get your IP address before you can pull the image for your operating system over. So what happens is you don't have any hard drive yourself. Everything runs in memory. So you don't have a place to store configuration details like an IP address. What you do have is the physical address that is burned onto your network interface card. So what you would do would be you would send out this reverse address resolution protocol request in order to get an IP address so you can configure your network interface, and then you can issue the request to the server where your operating system image is stored, and you can pull that operating system image down and boot the operating system so you can get running. So that's really what RARP, or the Reverse Address Resolution Protocol, is for. Now I've got a Wireshark capture here, and we see the RARP request, and it's really just an ARP request with a different opcode. You can see the opcode is 3 as opposed to the 1 and 2 that we saw in the ARP packet captures. An opcode of 3 is a reverse request. So you can see here there are some differences from what we've seen previously. In this case, we are sending a sender MAC address and a target MAC address. So that's the one thing that we do know. We know what our MAC address is, so we're going to populate the sender and the target MAC address with our MAC address because we're the ones whose IP address we're looking for. I know my MAC address, and I'm the one who needs the IP address for me, so I'm both the sender and the target. So I don't have an IP address for the sender or the target, so I'm going to leave those blank, but my MAC address, of course, is the same because I'm the sender and the target. The MAC address is going to be the same here between the sender and the target, as you see. And if we look down at the Ethernet 2 header, you can see the destination for this particular message is a broadcast address. All Fs is a broadcast MAC address. So that means everything on our physical network, the local area network that we are attached to, every system on that network is going to get this request, hoping that somebody is around who can give us an IP address. And typically there would be a system that was capable of doing that. Something like a BOOTP server would give us the details that we were looking to get. That's how the Reverse Address Resolution Protocol works, and that's really the primary use for it, to boot up configuration-less systems, so diskless systems that don't have any IP configuration stored on them. Or sometimes you'll use a PXE boot process, that's PXE, and that would do the same thing. It would go and probe for an IP address from the MAC address that it already had. So it doesn't have to be diskless. If you wanted to boot an installation off the network, this is another way of doing it as well. But diskless workstations were really the primary reason for having this reverse address resolution protocol because they were pretty common, or starting to be common, about the time that they were really implementing the reverse address resolution protocol. That was really kind of how it was seen for systems that didn't have an ability to store configuration details.